The idea of embracing something that took what technology has to offer to create a photoreal version of this story as told through the eyes of what would feel like a documentary, a live-action documentary crew, was an exciting prospect for us. Disney even refers to this as a live-action film, which is a bit misleading, but I think tonally correct, because we did use those techniques, and hopefully it does feel like something that was actually photographed, even though every shot, with the exception of one actually, but every shot in the film is completely computer generated, and every performance is animated. We build it using tools to create essentially a completely digital 3D environment, and then you have 3D digital animals that are in that environment. And that's how you would do the final render of it, whether it was a Marvel movie or whether it was a film like this. But since we already have those assets, we could bring that into this consumer-facing VR system using, in this case, the Unity game engine. And so because we now had this environment and we had VR, we could have people enter into the digital set and be able to walk around and look at it as though we were really on a scout. And allowed me to hire somebody like Caleb Deschanel, who's a great cinematographer who I've known for a long time, wanted to work with, but had no background in visual effects. And we made it very user-friendly, so he could just walk around with us, with the production designer, with the visual effects supervisor, with the director, look at the set, say, okay, we should probably put the camera here, and let's see the lion rehearse the scene, and the AD would hit the button and run the animation cycle, and we'd watch, just like you would on a regular set. He'd think about where he'd want the light. We'd move the sun if we had to. Move some trees around, and so we had, a full live-action film crew in VR operating camera equipment as though it were a live-action set. But we always tried to limit ourselves in what you could achieve in real life, and that's what gave it the aesthetic that people are reacting so well to right now.
Oh, all right, let me see what we're dealing with here. It's a lion!
Phase one is this whole virtual shoot where we do rough animation, we build rough versions of the sets. They kind of look like rough video games, and you put it all together and you shoot every shot. And now you have a complete edit of the whole movie with dialogue and temporary music, and you really have every shot. And it's not just a study. These are choices that John and Caleb and the other filmmakers were putting into place. Every one of those shots is sort of like a 3D file, like a data file that comes here to MPC London. And we have a layout department that works out all the space and imports all those cameras and lines it all up and makes sure that the scene is going to work. Animation department jumps right on the characters and starts creating the super delicate, fine performances. The environments and sets department creates the entire African savanna, painstakingly, making literally like thousands of plants and trees and rocks and things.
Life's not fair, is it, my little friend?
And then the lighting department and the simulation departments, which add the movement of the water, the movement of the fur, they all come in and they complete the realism so that the world, the character in the world, the way the light works off all those materials, the way every little blade of grass is moving, everything has to be just right.
We're here! Oh, everyone calm down, we're here! The backup has arrived!
At its core, cinema comes from the tradition of illusion and like Méliès and using all of these tools to make the audience believe that they're seeing something that they're not. And that's part of the delight, I think, of seeing something that's effects-driven, especially if there's a wonderful story behind it to carry it through.
You must take your place in the circle of life.